Buenos dias, buenas noches, buenas tardes, wherever you are, whenever you see this. Good morning, good afternoon, or good night. Today is June 22nd, 2023, just for reference. And interestingly enough, if you saw the title of this live stream, you know that I said something to the effect of the freedoms that come from not having when money's not involved or something to that effect. There's a reason why I said that. I'm going to explain in a second. I'm just killing time while I post a link on Hellhole, aka Twitter. Um, so the reason why I said that is because unlike Metamorphosis Rocks, this channel is not monetized, which technically means that I can do whatever I want and nothing will happen to me. Clearly, I cannot bring copyrighted material and just post it here because that would get the video cold or whatever. The hell? I haven't touched anything. Where are you coming from? I don't know what just happened. Something just flew out, and I'm looking here to see where the little. But there's nothing here, and I haven't touched anything. The only thing I touched was because I just found a Kisses wrapper, and I was about to throw it in the trash, but now I don't want to touch anything, so I'm just gonna leave it here. And then when I'm done, I'm gonna put it in the trash. The trash bin is right here. It's like not close enough for me to open it, but close enough that I can just go ahead and do it whenever I'm done. Anyway, today we're going to have a little chat about a few things that I've been watching on the internet and why I'm probably going to leave Twitter just to post whenever I'm going live or if I want to share somebody else's content, and I'm going to stop going into Twitter. Let's start with this whole thing about when you get to a certain age. I'm Generation X. Let me start there. I'm Generation X, and I'm on the older side of Generation X. In fact, Generation X starts 2 years before I was born. So I'm fairly close to the boomers, but I'm also close to the millennials because my daughter is one. So I feel myself, all my siblings were boomers. And I say were because two of them have passed on and I only have my sister left. But my sister was right in the cusp between boomers and Generation X. So she behaves more like a Generation Xer than she does a boomer. And so every once in a while she will do something and I'll be like, my God, you are a boomer. But most of the time she acts like a Generation Xer. Then you have the situation that when you get to a certain age, it really doesn't matter what generation you are. Things feel a little different. And I don't know if this is true for everybody. Let me put this way because it's annoying me. I don't know if this happens to anybody else or just me, but getting into arguments with stupid people just doesn't have any appeal to me whatsoever. I used to be I still am very passionate about my beliefs, but I think that passion sometimes is mistaken by hubris. I don't know if I'm saying that word right. And so you feel like if you're defending your point of view to no end, then you're doing something right. And the reality is that arguing with people that are essentially morons doesn't get you anywhere. I watched yesterday, I think it was on Instagram. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know whose story this is, so I apologize in advance, but it was a story about a donkey and a tiger, and they were arguing about something, and I really can't remember. Oh yeah, the grass was blue. The donkey insisted that the grass was blue, and the tiger insisted that the grass was green. So after a while of arguing, they decided to go to the lion, who's the king of the jungle, to determine who was right. And the donkey says to him, "Look, the grass is blue." And the lion says, "Yeah, the grass is blue." See? And this idiot is telling me that the grass is green. And the lion decides to punish the tiger and just let go, let the donkey believe what he wants to believe. And the tiger is told that his punishment is going to be that he has to be quiet for 5 years. And the tiger resigns himself to his punishment, but says before he leaves, the donkey already left because he won, so he doesn't care. The tiger decides to ask the lion why, and he says, the grass isn't blue, it's green. And he goes, yeah, I know. And the tiger goes, well, then why are you punishing me? And I'm going to give you the short version, but basically what he said was, why are you wasting your time arguing with idiots and then you come and bother me about it? The reality is that we're surrounded by idiots, and every time we sit there and argue with people, we make ourselves look even less smart, to be honest with you. And that is something that is happening on Twitter more and more and more every day. Now, Twitter has always been a little controversial in terms of opinions because people seem to feel the need to not only state their opinions, which they have every right to, but they want to force everybody else to conform to their opinions, which is really weird when you consider that people are always talking about being individualistic and having an individual mindset. And I'm an individual. I'm like nobody else. But you want everybody to have the same opinion you do. And that makes no sense to me. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples. I'm not going to name any names, but I have a friend that every once in a while, she'll make a list of people, of celebrities she doesn't like she won't support them. And of course, because she's done this list several times, she has like a master list, but every once in a while she'll name the ones that come to mind at the moment. And she mentioned some people that are like proven because they've been legal cases, like R. Kelly, for example. She has other people that have a history of making comments and making statements that are either insensitive or discriminatory against any and all people, like Clint Eastwood. And then she has people that just give her a bad vibe. Now, last time I looked, she has every right to have her opinion. And she has every right to express her opinion. But as it always happens, several people came to her comments, started asking her, why didn't you name this person? She says, because this isn't an all-encompassing list. This is just the people that I thought off the top of my head. After the third comment, she was done. She was like sick of it because everybody kept mentioning the same person. And the person that they mentioned was Johnny Depp. And the reason why I'm mentioning Johnny Depp is because I'm about to prove another point by using Johnny Depp as an example. But just put a pin on that one. Then I saw another person who was having a conversation with other strangers on the internet, and she expressed an opinion. And I can't tell you what the opinion is because right now everything is a blur to me. I am going through severe brain fog, so I apologize in advance that I don't have the details, but I don't think the details are important to the point that I'm trying to make. Bottom line is she was stating an opinion. And this person came from nowhere because this person was not involved in the conversation and proceeded to threaten this person. Now, it was a veiled threat. It was a subtweet kind of situation. It wasn't a subtweet in the sense that the person was responding to her, but it was a subtweet in the sense that they were being vague enough that they can say, well, I'm not threatening you. I just said this. But we could all tell that they were threatening her. And okay, that was not a piece of fuss, so I don't know what the hell that was. I'm beginning to get scared now. If there is somebody here, stop trying to scare me because you're doing a really good job. We can talk later after I'm done. Anyway, maybe it's me. Do I have fuss on my clothes and I just don't know about it? Well, we'll find out. Anyway, the person threatened her. I just realized that there's light that comes through the window because of the car, whatever. That might be it. Anyway, the bottom line is that this person that threatened her not only threatened her, but kept going over and over and over. And they just started harassing her. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, all you're doing is expressing your opinion on the internet, and that gives you, stranger on the internet, the right to get so upset that she doesn't agree with you, that you're threatening her. And then, of course, the person, we looked at their account and they're full of racist and derogatory statements against women and against the LGBTQ community, pretty much everything that she stands for. So, that my friend stands for. So it's like, yeah, that's why. Because again, people seem to think that you're entitled to your opinion so long as your opinion agrees with them. Third example, some dude posted a statement making some sort of reference to, if women only knew how men have to control themselves in order not to XYZ. I believe the original statement was something to the effect of to not offend them or to not insult them or whatnot. And several women went ahead and said, if men only knew the extremes that women go, not to make them angry or something to that effect. Because let's keep it real, a man being offended by a woman is more than likely possible in any way, shape, or form, because men get offended over the stupidest things. I mean, let's be real. The governor of the state of Florida got mad because he wore this ridiculously ugly white galoshes during a storm, and people make fun of the damn white galoshes. I mean, really, dude? You're the governor of the state. Why are you getting upset over these stupid white? And they're ugly. I'm sorry, but they are. They are. You should have worn either boots, like real boots, or tennis shoes. Either way, you would have looked better than you did, because you're well dressed and then you're wearing galoshes and they're white and your suit is black. Really? No. So, and the problem when a man gets mad is that he can get severely abusive with a woman. The average woman doesn't go and beat the crap out of a man because he said something, but the average man has the potential of beating up a woman for whatever reason. And the thing about this is that I think it's funny that they're like, oh, women shouldn't be making man mad. Sir, it is up to you to control your own temper. It's not my job. So why are you putting it on the women? If you had some self-control, if you had some maturity about you, you would know that it is stupid for you to do what you're doing. But yet you're doing it because for some reason you feel entitled to beat up a woman because she called you ugly or stupid or fat or whatever. Get a freaking grip, get some grow up and stop it. Those are 3 examples that I saw on Twitter this week. And coupled with the fact that the man who claims that he bought Twitter in order not to censor anybody decided this week that the term cis and cisgender are slurs. And all I have to say about that is, there is something that comes with the age of 56 that you start thinking to yourself, do I really want to sit hours and waste hours of my life getting upset at people who are just stupid? Hi, Lily. It's okay. No. I have sat here and watched Twitter go from bad to horrible. And I'm not going to close the accounts because for some reason I'm holding down for hope that at some point it will get better. And unfortunately, I did this with MySpace and then I lost my account and I didn't know I had lost my account. But the reality is that I still have hope that somebody will buy the damn app and bring it back to normal. But I don't think it's going to happen. Either way, I'm not giving up my names because those are my what do you call this? Those are my company name, my page name, my YouTube channel name. So I'm not going to get rid of them, but I am going to severely limit what I do to just post links to stuff that I watch and stuff that I'm posting. Because, in all honesty, Twitter makes me physically ill. It is what it is. I am probably going to take it off the phone because I do notice that the first thing I do, and it's because I want to check the trending topics to see if there's news stories or whatever. But the reality is that when you get to a certain age, your mental health becomes more and more important. One of the people that is not as old as me, and I saw this morning on Instagram, was Emily Artful. Excuse me. Emily Artful was in a forced break because she felt that her mental health needed it. And I started thinking about that a lot because, we all get trolls on the internet. That's nothing new. And one of the things that I keep bringing this up on every channel, basically, but one of the things that bothered me about when the Click made the video defending himself against Blair from Illuminati was the fact that this is not some small channel internet beef. It doesn't really matter who a person is on the internet. It doesn't matter if it's an individual who just has a Twitter account and they like to discuss their favorite show with their friends online, or if it's a person that has a channel with 10 subscribers, like my Spanish channel has 10 subscribers, or if it's somebody that has 1 million, 2 million, 10 million, 20 million subscribers. The problem with social media beef is that it's so in your face that it gets to you more than even when it's people talking trash about you behind your back. Because at the end of the day, you have to remember, hypocrites, you don't find out about hypocrites unless somebody tells you about it or you catch them in the act. Hypocrites can go their entire lives talking trash about you and you don't find out about it, so you don't care. But when you're talking about social media, it's fairly easy for you to find out what people are saying about you if you Google yourself. Now, I stopped doing that about a year and a half ago because, unfortunately, every time I would Google myself, all my profiles would come up, which is what I wanted to see. But then the next, it was either page 2 or page 3, because remember, I'm not the only one who has my name. So when my name pops up, other people show up as well. But either on page 2 or page 3, you will start seeing guru gossip and all these stupid chat boards and whatnot. And none of it was pretty. Everything was horrible and ugly. And it's old. At this point, it's very old because I guess they don't bother with me anymore because I'm doing my own thing and I don't bother anybody. But that doesn't mean that doesn't hurt. Now, does it hurt as much as it did 3 years ago when I was getting it all the time from all angles, not knowing that it was the same person with 10 or 20 stock accounts? No, it doesn't hurt as much. It actually, hurt is the wrong word. It's not hurt in the sense that, oh my God, it's more of a, that kind of triggers, you know what I mean? And so I had to make some decisions based on that. Now, y'all know that I'm having way too much fun on TikTok and I'm posting Instagram reels and I'm creating content for the next few months so that I have actual content on all the channels and whatnot. But one of the things there's 2 things I decided to do. I am watching the experts and what they think I should do to make the channels more visible and to get more eyeballs and whatnot. And that's all great and fine, but I'm not following any of them. And the reason why I'm not following any of their advice, like religiously, is because if you watch enough gurus online, you're going to notice that they're all disagree with each other. The only time I actually do something that the experts say is if I hear 3 or 4 of my favorite people online saying the same thing. If I hear 3 or 4 of them saying the same thing, I can guarantee you I'm going to try to do it. Because then I know, okay, this might actually work. But you have to understand that the reason why I call this, it's live, folks. I just saw it. It just went by my there's a little rotonda right there. And in order for them to go to the hospital, they have to go by the little circle. The problem is that that is not an ambulance. That's a fire truck. So I don't know where they're going. And ironically, they passed here and they shut up. So going back to the topic at hand. The thing about it is, you have to take care of your mental health. And if your mental health is attached to who you are online, or if you're trying to build something online and you spend a lot of time doing it, because I don't have to be attached. I'm not attached to Metamorphosis Rocks or Avid Diva or reviews or Metamorphosis Rocks en Español. I'm not. I turn that off, and if I'm not working on a video, I am not thinking of anything social media related. But when I'm in the zone, like there are times in my life where I spend 3 or 4 months at a time that I am just focused on creating content and whatnot, and I'm about to start that right now. Um, yeah, there's a lot of concentration, there's a lot of effort, and it's not that I don't want people to not like me, because I don't care why they watch me so long as they watch me. It's the fact that when people are so obsessed with not you necessarily, but you, if you don't agree with them, then they have to be hateful, spiteful, horrible human beings. That's when you're like, you know what? I really don't need this crap. And the thing about it is that on Instagram, I don't get that. On TikTok, I rarely get that. On Instagram, I remember one time I posted a video about something political, I think it was. Oh, yeah. I just remember. When Pelosi's husband got beat up and it turned out that the guy was a crazy person that just got into their house. I made a video before the whole story came out, because you have to remember that for a very long time, the conspiracy theories were saying that Pelosi's husband was gay and that this was his gay lover that beat him up. Turns out that he didn't know the guy, neither did she. Okay. But people are so obsessed with being right that I had a reel about that on Instagram, and it got a ton of views, but it was also a lot of hate. And the funny thing is that when people would post stupid stuff, I would just read it and keep going. I didn't answer them. Why? Because I am not going to ruin my algorithm by answering stupid comments like that. Because the thing about the algorithm is that it looks at everything you do online. If you're always online, it will give you more of what you look at. If you're always commenting, it will give you more of the topics that you're commenting on. And I was not going to risk my beautiful Instagram feeds to go to the crazy people. So I didn't comment. And you know what? It worked, because it didn't bring any more crazy people. Because here's the interesting thing about this conspiracy theories, people. They get tired fairly quick and they move on to the next person that says something they don't agree with. Because if you don't answer them, they don't like it. They like to get in a fight, which shows two sides of conspiracy theories. Number one, they want everybody to believe the crap that they believe. And number two, they get very easily bored and they move on to somebody else to see if they can convince that person. So that's where I'm at right now. Another thing that is happening that I've noticed a lot, and it does have to do with conspiracy theories, is the fact that people are really showing their true colors with stories that are coming out. And I'm talking about this story about the submarine, about the submersible, I should say. Listen, I understand that most people don't like white people, especially if they're white millionaires. But when you're sitting around trashing these people, you say more about yourself than you saying about them. I'm not saying that I'm happy or I'm sad. I am not. I'm neither. Because at the end of the day, the only reason why this story affects me is because last week we had a boat that had an accident, and I believe 700 people lost their lives. because nobody will go and rescue them, but we're wasting millions and millions of dollars in trying to rescue these 5 people. That is the only point of this story that affects me directly. Do I care if they find them or not? As a curiosity, but not much else, because I don't know any of them. I didn't even know they existed. I didn't even know their company existed or anything about this until they disappeared. It's kind of like when that plane got shut down. I think it was in Florida. I'm not remembering well, but it was like a week or 2 weeks ago. A plane got shut down, and it was some millionaire, and they had the whole depressurized thing, and they fall asleep and they die. What I did not hear about the boat with 700 exactly, exactly. There have been, since the year started before this accident, there were I think it was either 300 or 400 people that disappeared out to sea because they were refugee boats and they sank or they had accidents in them. Okay, have we heard anything about that? No, we just found out now because people are bringing it up, because 5 lives of millionaires are more important than all those lives that were lost. The media doesn't care. Nobody cares. And that's annoying. I have another example of situations that annoy me, and since we're in the annoying pattern, you have a situation, and by the way, it's not because he's a Republican, it's because he is the governor of the state of Florida. I personally believe that any person running for office should quit if they work for the government in any capacity, they should quit their job or go on leave, unpaid leave, by the way, to go and run for office. And I'm going to tell you why. We have a ridiculous amount of children in the state of Florida that are starving. They're under the poverty level. Not even in the poverty level, they're under it. We have a housing crisis that is ridiculous right now. Florida has become one of the most expensive states to live, if not the most expensive. We have a situation where a governor decided to attack migrants, regardless of whether or not they are legal or illegal, and has caused a crisis in business and in farming. And by the way, that law doesn't go into effect until next Friday. But he's so busy running for office that he doesn't have time to come and take care of his people. So he's basically an absent governor. And the other people that are left to run this thing, they're not doing anything. None of them are. Because technically the governor is the governor. You see, the person that comes next in the totem pole would take over if the governor was like unconscious on the hospital, or if he was in another country or anything like that. But because this guy is technically still here, nobody's doing anything. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. If you're running for office, you should be on leave or quit your job, period. End of story. And that used to be the case in Florida, but because the entire Congress in Florida is Republican, they changed the law that if you're running for senator or representative, you can be holding your office, your public office spot. But if you're running for president, you can. I'm sorry, running for president takes a lot more time and effort than running for everything else. Yeah, no. I'm sorry. That should be illegal. In fact, I would venture to say that should be a federal rule. No governor, no representative, no senator should be running if they're still running their office. Period. They either go and leave or they quit. And we knew this was going to happen, and people still voted for him, which is the part that cracks me up. Then again, the Democrats didn't have a good candidate, but that's beside the point. Bottom line is this. If there's one thing that I've seen, and I'm going back to the story about the submersible, if there's one thing that I've seen, is how much even people that I absolutely adore are being horrible on the internet right now. And here's my thing: you can dislike rich people. Excuse me. You can dislike rich people. You can dislike the fact that they spent $250,000 getting themselves sewn into a tin can with no possibility of escape. And you can still have the humanity to say, at the end of the day, these are five people that are probably going to die. And I think they already ran out of oxygen, according to the estimates. And their families are going to be devastated, not counting the stepson of the billionaire. Okay? Both things can be true. The fact that you're sitting around, and by the way, I'm not talking about people that have made some jokes about, can you imagine sewing yourself on, soldering yourself inside a tin can, blah, blah. Because I know some people deal with trauma that way. But the absolute hate that I'm seeing on some of the posts, again, say more about you than they do about them. Do I think I have a right to tell a millionaire or a billionaire how to spend their money? Absolutely not. The same way they don't have a right to tell me how to spend my money. If I'm going to argue that people cannot tell me that if I have food stamps, I cannot buy T-bone steaks instead of buying ground beef, right? Because that was an argument that happened around Christmas because some idiot decided to post a receipt. Turned out it was her receipt. But here's the thing. If I don't think you have the right to tell me how I spend my food stamp money or my unemployment money or student loan money, why do I think it's okay to tell a millionaire or a billionaire how to spend their money? That makes no sense. Now, do I think that billionaires and millionaires should do something better with their money than spend it to the tune of millions of dollars and putting politicians in office when they could get a lot more bang for the buck if they actually invested in the communities they are associated with? Absolutely. And I will say that all day and twice on Sunday. All day, every day, and twice on Sunday. But at the end of the day, I don't have a right to tell a millionaire, "Ooh, you have the possibility of going and seeing the Titanic. Go ahead." No, I'm not going to tell him yay or nay because it's none of my business what they do with their money. Now, do I think it's wrong that they make a mess like this and then the American and the Canadian government are going in there looking for them and spending millions and millions of dollars? No, that I have a problem with. Because at the end of the day, they should cover that expense. The man is a billionaire. I'm pretty sure he's married to somebody or he has somebody in charge of his finances that can spend the money trying to find him. Which is what's going to happen because at some point this search is going to be called off. And the only way they're going to be able to retrieve them is if one of them has enough money to hire somebody to go and get them. Which begs the question, why didn't they do that in the first place? But do I have the right to tell somebody like Jeff Bezos, oh, you should not be investing your money in buying a $5 million, I don't know how much it is, but I'm just going to say a number out of the blue, a $5 million yacht and spend all this time with your girlfriend in the Bahamas or in Paris or in freaking, oh my God, I forgot the name of the Monte Carlo. You know what? No, the man busted his ass creating a company. He has money. Let him enjoy his money. I don't care. I don't really care what they spend their money on. Do I wish they would spend it on the right things? Absolutely. But here's the issue, and this is the part that you all don't get. The same way you have George Soros on the Democratic side, you have the Koch brothers on the Republican side. What you think is the right thing to do with their money is not the same thing they think is the right thing to do with their money, even when they're giving it to charity. And that's the part that you don't get. It's like when people get mad because all these millionaires give money to conversion therapy, to organizations that believe in conversion therapy. Do I agree with that? Absolutely not. Do I think they have a right to spend their money however they want to? Absolutely. Does that make me a conversion therapy supporter apologist. No, because at the end of the day, it's not my money. The only thing I can do as a human is say, this person is giving money to those people. If you support that person, then you're supporting those people. There's a big difference between supporting somebody that is giving money to something you don't like and knowing that that person has every right to do whatever the hell they want with their money. Those are two different things. And that's where I have a problem here, because I don't know if y'all remember one time I made a post on Twitter about how I don't think David Duke should be banned from Twitter, because it's harder to fight something if you don't know what they're saying. I still believe that to this day. People should be allowed to say whatever they want to say, because it's easier for us to know what we're fighting against if we actually can see it, as opposed to them hiding behind the shadows and going on 4chan or whatever, because God knows I would never go there. There are entire parts of the internet that I'm not interested. Guru Gossip, Lol Cow, I forgot the other one, Lipstick Alley, whatever. 4chan. There's a ton of Breitbart. There's a ton of places that I refuse to go online. I don't watch OANN. I don't watch Fox News. I don't watch CNN. I don't watch MSNBC. There's a ton of places that I don't go online or off because I'm not interested. But do I believe they have the right to? Why do I keep seeing? Is there a car there? Yeah, there's a car there. The shadow that you see that goes like that. Wait, it goes around here. Those are shadows from lights from the cars. Don't ask me. I don't know. I don't make the rules, because it happened again and I just saw the car going by. So the bottom line is this. Do I agree with those people? Absolutely not. Do I think they have a right to have their expressions out in the open? Absolutely, because it's easier to fight something if you can see it. But there's a difference between me thinking that we should be able to see what they're doing and me supporting it. And the fact that some people think that me saying they have a right to do something means that I support it is baffling to me. Because the funniest part about this story is that after I got absolutely decimated for saying that, because I spent a year and a half getting bashed for saying that. The same people that came and bashed me decided to support somebody. And when they were called out about that, they were like, me? Who, me? No. I didn't support that person. I just said they had a right to say whatever they were saying. Isn't that the same exact thing I said? Because it sounds exactly like the same thing I just said. But when you do it, it's okay. When I do it, it's wrong. That's the part that cracks me up about this. Because again, we all want to be individuals. We all want to be our own person. But when it's time to actually show that you're willing to stick to your guns and stick to your beliefs, no matter if people agree with you or not, you are sitting there trying to convince people that your way or the highway. And this is true in politics, religion, society in general. And so long as we keep living in a world where people think that they have to force their opinions on everybody else, we are all losing. Mostly us poor people, but we are all losing. Anyway, that is my rant of the day. Lily, thank you for being here with me. Anyway, I'm going to go now because, well, for one thing, my throat is killing me, and for another one, I am starving. So I guess I'll see you all tomorrow at 4 p.m. on Metamorphosis Rocks. Bye.